How's it going, everybody? David Hedge here of House Hedge Gaming, and today I'm going to talk wrestling. That's right, Survivor Series from WWE is next week, and it is going to be a gigantic event, even though it only has very few matches announced so far. So today I want to give you my predictions of what's going to happen in the matches that they've already announced, plus some things that I think may actually happen on the show that have not yet come to light. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, first up, my predictions of things that will be added to the card. So far, as of the time of this recording, there are only 3 matches that are announced for Survivor Series. And I have 3 predictions of what may be added. Number 1, Braun Breaker will definitely be defending his Intercontinental Championship this coming Monday against Ludwig Kaiser. But chances are Sheamus will be getting involved. If that's the case, then I can see at Survivor Series a triple threat match between Braun Breaker, Ludwig Kaiser, and Sheamus. And if those 3 guys get into the ring, I guarantee you it is going to be nothing but a beautiful brawl. Next up, LA Knight has been having some problems with Shinsuke Nakamura since Nakamura returned to WWE and has been aiming his sights on the United States Championship. Hopefully we see this title match come down sooner than later, and it might just be at Survivor Series. And if that's the case, I can see Nakamura winning the championship from LA Knight, setting LA Knight to go to bigger things later on down the line. And to backtrack real quick, the Intercontinental Triple Threat that I'm trying to fancy book, Braun Breaker is definitely winning it because there's nothing that's going to be stopping him anytime soon. It was great that Jey Uso won the IC title for a few weeks span, but Braun Breaker should definitely be just that monster that keeps a hold of that title for a good while. Finally, at Survivor Series, I can see Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens just having an all-out fight. Not a match. That'll probably be at the Royal Rumble, but at Survivor Series, there's going to be some sort of altercation between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes to where they're just going to beat the holy crap out of each other. And if that happens, it'll be a fun time had by all, except for maybe Cody and Kevin Owens, because they're probably going to be bruised up by the time it's all said and done. But you know what? I can see that happening at Survivor Series to set up for a match later on down the line. They've already promised it, that there's going to be a match between them. We just don't know when. We don't know where, but we'll know why. But that's my 3 predictions of what I think is going to happen at Survivor Series. But now let's go into the predictions for the matches that they've already announced for Survivor Series War Games. So the first match is Gunther defending his championship against Damian Priest. Now, back at SummerSlam, these two had a really good match where Gunther was able to capture the championship and finally take on one of the top 2 spots of the mountain, standing side by side with Cody Rhodes. But Damian Priest has now put the Judgment Day into his rearview mirror, hopefully, and is now wanting to get back the championship that he was screwed out of at SummerSlam as he tries to get it back from Gunther at Survivor Series. I can see these two having a tremendous match for the championship, but unfortunately, I can see interference happening once again with Finn Balor because he's going to try to prove that he is far better than Damian Priest ever was as a leader of Judgment Day. So Finn Balor will get involved, cost Damian Priest the championship, and Gunther will retain. And hopefully we can get past Gunther having his insecurities about going up against Damian Priest, or we might set up for one more match to where it's Gunther and Damian Priest inside of a steel cage, which granted we all see how well that does to keep people out of matches this day and age. But if that does happen, they'll tear it up in the cage. But I could see them having a really good match at Survivor Series, but in the end, it'll be Finn Balor and some sort of Judgment Day shenanigans causing Damian Priest to lose and Gunther retaining. Next up, the Women's War Games match, which has had probably one of the weirder builds for this year as far as between the 2 War Games matches, but also just weird in general for recent War Games because the storyline hasn't been as prominent. So we have on one side Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, who have had a partnership of convenience, Nia Jax being the SmackDown Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton being the Money in the Bank winner for this year. And then you have on that team the new Speed Champion, Candice LeRae. And then you have Liv Morgan, the Raw Women's Champion, and Raquel Rodriguez rounding out that 5-person team. Now, we just recently had Liv Morgan and Nia Jax feuding for the Champion of Champions crown at Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel. And Tiffany Stratton and Raquel Rodriguez were involved with that. But then Candice LeRae is just there. She's the third champion. She's the first speed champion. Glad she did it because she deserves some sort of championship on the main roster. But it just seems like a hodgepodge team. On the other side of the coin, you have Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Naomi, the returning Rhea Ripley, and originally it was supposed to be Jade Cargill. And I'm going to stop for a sec because it's a little bit of a spoiler, because I record this already for next Friday. So Jade Cargill got attacked and is now being replaced by Bayley. So you have two teams that have definitely been hodgepodge together just a little bit. So Bayley does have a connection with Nia Jax. Naomi and Bianca have a connection with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez. Of course, Rhea Ripley has a connection with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I should have had a diagram somewhere to try and figure all this stuff out. But every single person in this thing has a connection, but the loosest connection of all is Candice LeRae. I wish they would have done something where you would have had Liv and Rhea come face to face, or Liv throw out the challenge after she attacked Rhea. And Liv could be like, you know what, we took you out. You now have your face messed up. You're not going to be around for a while, but you know what? If you want revenge, I'm going to give you a shot at it. You get a team of 5 together. I'm going to get a team of 5 together, and let's go to war. Something like that would have made more sense instead of just hodgepodging it together. I did like it when Rhea Ripley came back to fill out the 5-person team originally, and she just yells to the mic, "War Games!" and then headbutts Liv Morgan, and then all hell breaks loose. Love that. But just how we got here was a little bit too convoluted for me. But you know what? I'm glad we're getting all these women inside of a War Games cage, and I would love to see this thing just be as chaotic as what the women's Money in the Bank ladder match was earlier this year. They went hell for leather in that match, and I could see them doing the exact same thing here to try and steal the show. We could see Io Sky diving off the top of the cage with a trash can. I could see Tiffany Stratton doing a prettiest moonsault ever off the top of the cage. There is going to be weapons. There will be a lot of strength being on display with Raquel Rodriguez and Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley. I can see Liv Morgan just being that sneaky, conniving little son of a gun right in the corner trying to direct everybody and getting her shots in. Same thing with Candice LeRae. But when it's all said and done, I have 2 predictions for this match. One, Liv Morgan is going to steal a win from Rhea Ripley. And it's going to set up further to try and set up those two for one final battle going into 2025. The other way I see it is if Team Ripley wins, gets the pin on Nia Jax, and Nia Jax is completely out of it, to the point where Tiffany Stratton cashes in the Money in the Bank and becomes the new SmackDown Women's Champion. If that happens, I'm going to be fine with it. They've had a great run with this, and then you have Nia Jax chasing after Tiffany Stratton, getting back at her because of everything that has happened that led to that moment. But no matter which outcome it is, I guarantee you all 10 of these women are going to beat the holy heck out of each other to where in the end it's going to show that women once again do belong in these type of matches because they are just as tough as the male competitors, and they're going to prove it next Saturday at Survivor Series War Games. The final match that I can review, because they only revealed 3, is the big one. The OG Bloodline going up against the New Bloodline. So on one side, the New Bloodline, you have Solo Sikoa, the new head of the table, the new tribal chief. You have Tama Tonga, Tonga Lao, Jacob Fatu, and the newly brought in for this War Games match, Bronson Reed. And you look at those 5 and you go, wow, I don't want to be anywhere in a dark alley with these 5. They will destroy me. Or in the ring, or in a grocery store, in a Walmart, or anywhere. Because those 5, if you look at them together, it's an imposing force, an imposing group. On the other side, you have Roman Reigns, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, and Sami Zayn. Now, originally, we were all thinking it was going to be 4-on-5 because they couldn't get Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins refuses to team up with Roman Reigns. We didn't get Braun Breaker. Just about everybody else that they could think of, they decided to not team up with the OG bloodline because of all the sins that Roman Reigns has. Basically, all of his sins came back to roost because all of the trouble that he caused so many people while he was the head of the table, while he was the tribal chief, while he was the champion, it finally came back to bite him in the backside, where he no longer had anybody there. He even tried reaching out to the wise man, and the phone number was disconnected. But just less than 24 hours ago, and this is the thing that actually inspired me to do the video, because I didn't think I was going to do another wrestling review or preview until next year, but I wanted to do this because I got so excited when you see the final moments of SmackDown last night. The new bloodline offering the OG bloodline one chance to surrender and just go join my team. Solo Sikoa just looks at Reigns and goes, join us, join the new bloodline, acknowledge me, or else you will be dead where you stand. And before Roman could even acknowledge him, before he could even answer him, you had Paul Heyman come out to the biggest pop, and it was great to see Paul Heyman because he's one of my favorite managers. He comes out and he goes, wait a minute, you can't have a 5-on-4 War Games. You have to have a 5-on-5. And the fifth man for the OG bloodline is CM Punk. When he came out, people were going crazy. They had a brawl, and you even see at the end of it, Tama Tonga and Tonga Lao getting taken out by a GTS and a spear respectively, and Paul Heyman looking like a proud dad, like, yeah, this right here, this is going to be great. And that's how we ended SmackDown going into Survivor Series next Saturday. Seeing all this unravel in front of us, I'm glad they didn't go with Seth Rollins because it wouldn't have made any sense. It would storyline wise to a degree, but after him going, I'm not teaming, okay, I'll team. We didn't get that. But a lot of people are wondering why Punk. So let's go back to earlier this year in the summer. CM Punk in Chicago on SmackDown. Paul Heyman goes and interrupts him and lets everybody know, hey, Punk, you need to get out of here. Do me a favor. Get out of here. I'm doing you this favor, letting you know Solo Sikoa is coming after you because Chicago is Punk's town, but Solo Sikoa wants every town to be his town because now he's at the head of the table. When Solo and the Tongans come out, Punk goes, okay, if I do you this favor, or if you're doing me this favor, what is my favor to you? And Paul Heyman goes to him and goes, take me with you. Because at this point, Paul Heyman was just so uneasy with the partnership that he had with the new bloodline and how Solo Sikoa is recruiting all of these maniacs and violent people into the new bloodline that's going to cause so much chaos on the roster that Paul Heyman just wanted to get out of there. So when it all came to be said and done, Solo and the Tongans were going to go in there and handle business, but then Cody Rhodes came in and handed Punk a bat and they held him off. But that was the interaction. But plus, Paul Heyman is good friends with CM Punk. CM Punk has always said he was a Heyman guy. And now that you have all of this coming up, it makes perfect sense for Punk to be involved with this match. Because now not only Reigns does have his wise man back, but now you also have Punk teaming with Reigns, with the Usos, with Zayn going into War Games, and it is going to be a brawl. I've already predicted that this is going to be an insane matchup. It's going to be a physical matchup, to say the least. And to see Punk go full circle from where he was last year and have him come back a year later at the exact same event that he was re-debuted in, or Ray May's return in for WWE, to have him go into the War Games itself. He helped to make the Hell in a Cell match something special again, him and Drew McIntyre, a few months ago at Bad Blood. Hopefully they could do the exact same magic here and make War Games something special. Because we can have something in War Games we have not had in a WWE War Games as of yet, and that is bloodshed. We had it at Hell in a Cell. It was warranted to go over the fact that Drew McIntyre and CM Punk had that major feud that was deserved that kind of finale where it was just bloodshed. It was a bloody affair and it was violent. OG Bloodline and New Bloodline should be the same thing. There should be a few crimson masks that are worn at the end of that match to show how much of a toll that match can do on the body. And hopefully it happens. And my winning pick, it's a toss-up because I can see both teams winning and a reason why for them. For Solo Sikoa, it's to cement that he is the new tribal chief, that he is the new head of the table. For Roman Reigns' team, it's for him to come back to prominence and to start back to where he wants to be, and that is at the head of the table. But if I'm going to go with a winner, as much as I love seeing Punk back and see him on Team Reigns, I could give the edge to Team New Bloodline. I can give it to them just by a hair. Because if they do that, boy, it's going to be something else. Because all those fans are going to be wanting to go through that cage and destroy the New Bloodline. But in reality, it's going to end up being Reigns and Punk and them being able to get the victory on the New Bloodline, some form or fashion. But I'm still going to leave a little bit of something there that I do believe that we're going to see the New Bloodline actually take over. Well, there you have it. That is my predictions for Survivor Series War Games. Now, the men's match is going to be a cinematic affair, and it's going to be insane storytelling. The women's match in War Games is going to be a chaotic brawl that is going to be a fantastic thing to watch. You're in the middle of it. You're going to have Gunther and Damian Priest having a great championship match, but unfortunately, it's going to be some tomfoolery that's going to cause some things to happen to the finish. But no matter what, this is going to be a really good pay-per-view, and it's going to give all the matches enough time to breathe to where it's going to be able to tell the story so they can get ready to go into 2025. But thank you all so much for checking out this video. If you like it, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and let everyone know the House Hedge Gaming is here for all of your gaming and wrestling needs. So until next time, everyone, stay safe and take care, my friends.